Oh! Oh my God! I can't stop. Oh my God! Oh my God! What is that? BS and nuclear technology? ISPS.
That's a picture of an atomic bomb going off, and it looks like a picture of a weird wiener. Welcome back to FTD, brought to you by FanDuel.
Dude, I was just about to say, I don't know much, but I know that FanDuel is in the Carolinas. They have completely infiltrated. I can't believe it.
What's up, North Carolina?
Hey, but the last two holding strong. Right here on the podcast. I tried to get in. They declined my bank. I'm not in that much debt.
Yeah, you have the special credit card that doesn't let you get involved in stupid shit.
That's awesome.
But
the $5 in and the $250 bonus bet is a good value because you could bet with $250 of their money, and any of your winnings you get to cash out.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? This is my thought process on it. They are making so much money off of these people who don't know that they're going to get addicted, because obviously they don't know they're getting addicted because they just are like, oh, I get $250 bonus bets.
That's
and then
the trick.
They're getting everybody on. They're making so much money. The amount of money they've spent on advertising alone in the past couple weeks is money we can't even fathom, because they're advertising on everything.
They are, and we were watching the what was it? It was the beginning of March Madness, and it was like back to back. It was like FanDuel commercial, DraftKings commercial, FanDuel commercial, DraftKings commercial,
And Fanatics has one too now.
and then ESPN bets. I'm not saying it's a problem, but it's a serious problem. And
Problem Help Gambling Hotline.
I was just talking to my mom about this. I was like, that it is real sneaky what they do is they'll give you the quote unquote bonus bets.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate's been telling me all about it. He's like, it's just free money. And I'm like, but if it was free money, you get your $250 bonus bet and I would cash that out immediately. That's how I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Can't do that. It's their money that you're betting with, but you get to keep the winnings, or you just lose it all and put in more money. So it's a really interesting thing that they got going on. And every bet is basically a coin flip, which is, it's just basically a roulette table, the sports gambling thing. There are odds, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's much different than, say, like online blackjack or online poker, where there's a little bit of skill involved.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if you're a good player, you can make money, and you could also lose a lot of money. It's gambling, but it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to talk against it, because I went through Nate's eyes yesterday. Nate's all into the bonus bets. He's got so many bonus bets, and yesterday he did a 5-way parlay. For people that don't know what a parlay is. So it's basically a 5-way parlay is taking 5 bets and combining them into one, so your payout is better because they all have to hit. So if you get 4 right and 1 wrong, you lose everything. But if you hit all 5, then the payout is much larger. So Nate did a 5-way.
Insane.
It's March Madness. So, and conveniently enough, DraftKings came to North Carolina on March 11th.
Yep.
Just in time for March Madness. I know that they probably set it up that way, but there are no coincidences.
No, there's not. They did it on purpose, and it's one of those things, you know what they say, you shouldn't teach your new dog old tricks. And so they have brought betting back, which is like the oldest scam in modern Western civilization.
It is, and it's created an entire city. It's actually kind of a cool thing from the outside, not being a gambling addict, because I went to Vegas one time and it was kind of fun, but I didn't lose a bunch of money. I didn't get hooked on it. I was actually. Let me finish off the story about Nate's parlay. So he bets this 5-way parlay in March Madness yesterday, all the games. The dude knows nothing about college basketball, and I know a lot about college basketball, and his parlay it made a little bit of sense to me. But one of his bets, he picked like the underdog, like way underdog, like
Yeah.
plus a lot.
Yeah.
And so he gets 1, 2, 3 wins, and then his underdog hits somehow. I have no idea how. And then his fifth goes into overtime and wins that for a big payout for him. I'm like, this is unreal. Actually, we were up till midnight watching this last game, and it's actually kind of exciting for him because you all of a sudden have an interest in the game itself. I think that's also a pull for these companies, the whatever it is, the TV providers, ESPN, CBS. I mean, they're obviously all connected, but they're getting way more views now from these people betting because the sports are actually exciting when there's money on the line.
Yeah.
Nobody's. I wouldn't be caught dead watching Houston and Texas A&M battle it out. I'd check my phone maybe, look at the score, but I watched that whole game back to front because Nate's parlay was about to hit.
Yeah.
And we were screaming in the living room because of gambling. It's very exciting, and there's obviously a lot of tentacles within it. I think overall it's obviously an unhealthy thing to gamble your money, but I don't know. I'm real confused about it because I used to be a real gambler. And I'm talking real gambler. I'm not talking this sissy sports crap. I'm talking CS:GO skins. I used to gamble Counter-Strike Global Offense, online first-person shooter, ultra competitive. They built up. I don't know how they did it because it was illegal in North Carolina. Yet at 15, 16 years old, you needed 0 age verification. There was no anything on it.
Yeah.
It's basically you just deposit your money and you buy skins from the website and then you gamble with the skins. And I was up, man, I tell you what, I put in probably $50 and I got that $50 to $800 and then I lost everything.
Yeah.
And at 15 years old, I mean, that's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really heavy. And I had to put that to bed, and then it reawoke in me this past year, and I wasn't gambling, but I was back in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And Counter-Strike 2 came out. I was like, this will be very exciting. I played a couple games, and then I felt my urge. I was like, man, I want some skins. Maybe I'll go on the website and because you can play roulette.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'll go on the website, throw in $1 skin. And just go on green every time.
Yeah.
Boom, I hit. I hit my green, and I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
I deleted the game. I withdrawed my money, and I put it to bed. But a lot of people don't have the resolve.
See, I don't get much from gambling anyway. Like, it doesn't excite me that much. But I see the $250 bonus bet. Like my inner crackhead is like, oh, free bonus bet. Like I get the pull to it. But man, I feel like
everybody's passing around their referrals like freaking crack on the street.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
You got any referrals for me? You got any referrals? Any bonus bets for me?
Let me send you my referral code.
It's so insane. I mean, you watch Peaky Blinders. That's all they're doing is running this betting ring, and they're making just so much money because the house always wins.
House always wins. It's a tale as old as time. And the thing about sports betting, it's always 50-50. I mean, you either win or you lose.
Yeah.
It's coin flip.
Uh-huh.
The odds may be in your favor depending on the team you're betting on, but I don't think any sport has as many upsets as basketball does.
Yeah.
Which I know you can bet on anything, but that's the hot sport right now. We're in March Madness.
It is March. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sports betting. I feel like it's going to start taking people down. Right now we're in the early days where everything is great and fun. Everyone's gambling their $250 bonus bets and then give it a couple weeks, and everyone's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna get a little bit of money. I just need to make more money on this thing, and I'll get you back. I'll get you back to double, man. What you get me, I can double it. I know I can."
There's not enough bonus bets to be bonused.
No,
There's not enough for the excitement. I mean, I'm hearing friends' moms, my aunt's aunt, my aunt's aunt, all on Facebook with the referrals out and about.
Yeah.
And I don't, God. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Dang frogs in my throat. That bonus bet is in my throat. That's what it is. $250 on the line. And don't get me wrong. I sound hypocritical because I did attempt to get that bonus bet, but I was shut down. And after further review on the play, it was a good move.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Bothers me, because I know we're gonna watch a couple people go down the rabbit hole. I know I can feel it. At least one person. At least Big Nate.
Big Nate's going down the rabbit hole pretty good. He's at family dinners with his girlfriend, just watching basketball under the table, waiting for these bets to hit. And he's just placing more and more bets. And
he also he got the what was it? It was Saturday night or Friday night or whatever. Someone was like, I think it was Cameron was like, oh, you can get my referral code. He's like, I already have the app downloaded. I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. And he's like getting the referral codes and stuff, and he's putting $100 in, so he matches his $100 referral, whatever. And then he's got his bonus bets and stuff, and he's like immediately betting on teams he doesn't even know, or maybe he does, but I just thought he didn't. And you saw the first bet he placed, you saw him go like, oh yes, he got so excited.
It really reminds me of a scene in South Park where Stan has a lump of money. He's a 4th grade kid. He has a lump of money. He's like, I want to put my money into a savings account. So they go to the bank, and the banker's like, you don't want to put your money in a savings account. What you want to do is you want to put your money in the market so it grows and it compounds. And Stan's like, oh, that's a great idea. And so he gives him his money, and the stockbroker is like, he's like, okay, so we're gonna go in the index fund, and then we're gonna actually short Apple, and it's gone. He's like, what? He's like, all your money, it's gone. It disappeared. It's like, where'd it go? I lost it all. The market. It's just how it works. It's the market. That's exactly the scene that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's like the $250 bonus bet. Oh, I'm up $100 and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like that. That's the crazy thing about even investing. Yeah, there's a lot of people who will they're not putting their money in index funds, or they're not really sure that this is a good investment, even though it's high risk. They're just like, yeah, I'm going to short Facebook for randomly.
Yeah,
or I'm going to do something weird and risky. And if it works, the payout is insane. It's the same thing. It's just abusing the stock market to get your gambling rocks off.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a friend that he was constantly looking at stocks. When we were in high school, I would see he was on his MacBook, and he always had the candlestick view up, and he always had Robinhood open, and I'm like how's it going today? He's like, lost $500. I'm like, dang. And every time I asked him, he just told me how much he lost that day. I don't think he ever made any money. Yeah. And he's like, but he was so sure he was going to be a day trader. He was sure.
It's insane. Some of my friends that dabble in day trading. I read for a 4-book series. It was the Robert Kiyosaki series. It goes the guide to investing. It starts with the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then it's 3 more books, and the guide to being an investor or whatever. And he's like, all these stay-at-home day traders are laughable because they have zero inside information. He's like, the only successful day traders are the ones that are sitting on Wall Street and have inside information and are watching it all day, every day.
Yeah.
Like the day trader that are like, they're shorting this like once a day, or they're, they put a put in for something. It's he says it's absolutely laughable that people like they see a news article and they go and short this stuff, and they don't know anyone from the company.
Yeah.
They know zero CEOs. They don't know what Wall Street's doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like they're below amateurs. As
Yeah,
far as like the real investors like Warren Buffett, obviously when you're a super successful trader, you know all these top companies, you know the CEOs of the companies, you're friends with them, you got them on the line, and there is no, obviously you can't, it's illegal to do like insider information, but there's obviously, pat you on the shoulder, like, hey, this is
Tim, how's it going at Apple today? He's like, oh, great. You're like, oh, yeah, I thought so.
It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week. Yeah. I don't know any of my friends that have Tim Cook on the freaking speed dial.
No.
It's I dabbled in it. I was like, I want to be a trader, and I tried it, lost money, and then I read that series, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense that I would lose money because I literally know nothing.
Yeah,
I think literally before, like, when you short Apple, all the Wall Street guys are putting puts on Apple. They're
like, look at this tard over here.
Yeah, it's like all the Wall Street guys are doing the exact opposite of what you're doing. Exact opposite.
And it shows. Making the money.
And it shows. You can get lucky for a certain amount of time, but we know nothing.
Well, it's exciting. Like, if you want to invest in stocks, go invest in something that's like a more long-term investment that is much lower risk, and just enjoy making a couple bucks a day. That's a big deal. You put money in the S&P and you're making a couple bucks a day, and then some days you lose a couple bucks, but it's fun to watch, and you're still overall trending up as long as there's not like a huge 10-year recession, which has happened before. But
yeah, it ties into the gambling thing.
Yeah.
If you're a quote unquote at home day trader and you're following the candlesticks, you're a gambler. You're literally gambling.
Yeah.
You're winning and losing.
Yeah, you are.
And obviously the Wall Street guys win and lose, but at least they know something.
Yeah. There's nobody, I feel like, that. Well, I'll rephrase this. The only people who know exactly what they're doing with the sports betting are the people who are running the apps, and they know that the chance of them winning is good as long as they're the ones who are owning the system. And it's I was thinking about the overhead from this is like nothing. You don't even have to have, like, I don't know what you legally need to have the betting in North Carolina. I don't know if they have to put like one office in North Carolina or something, maybe, but even so, like, it's just an app with, bank level encryption, like anybody can access, so you can make something pretty secure pretty easily these days. And then they're probably making a bunch of money off having all this money in their app. They're probably making interest and everything off the money.
Yeah, 100%.
They're making just so much money. It's crazy how much money that they've got to be making and rolling in. And we were looking at, like, I thought about this. Apple releases Apple Vision Pro. Everyone's like, this is going to be a game changer. This is going to be crazy. And then you have these companies just like, we're doing betting. And I heard he's like, oh, yeah.
Let's go.
I'll do betting.
Let's go.
Like, this is new. There's nothing new about betting, but it just
nothing new.
It works. It'll work probably forever. And so you got like such simple little companies that are just rolling in cash.
It's actually awesome. If I was on the other side of it, it would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
Because you're bringing people joy, and you're letting them bet on sports, all this and that, a bunch of.
Well, we've got the lottery in North Carolina, and people freaking play it all the time. I can't believe how many people play the lottery.
There's not one time. We have some like podunk gas stations around here that I go to. I haven't been in there one time where the person in front of me at the line hasn't bought $30 in scratchers or whatever.
I can't believe it. They're like, I want one of the $20, blah blah, one of the 20. Like they're spending $100 on a Tuesday on a bunch of scratch offs, winning nothing, being like, when I hit, oh, this is gonna be worth it.
It's gonna be so big. And the funny thing, and Nate and I went to the store a couple weeks ago, got some scratchers. Of course, he wins $200 on a $10 scratcher. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? No wonder he's freaking 5-way parlaying. Unfreaking believable.
Why does he have such good luck?
I don't know. He's got usually pretty bad luck, like IRL.
Yeah.
But I think he's saved it up for all the gambling.
He's been saving his luck up, and it is working. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't get the scratch offs. I don't get spending all that money. And the craziest part is the people who win, because you always see the news stories of the people who win. They're always the kind of people that never win. Like they're the kind of person who's like, I knew it. I knew it was gonna pay off. I told everybody it was gonna pay off, and nobody believed me.
Lost their house and their car.
Yeah, and then
family.
Yeah,
I told you guys it was gonna pay off. No teeth.
Yeah, and then it does, and you're like, but most of the time it doesn't. Like,
yeah,
it did for you, but
it did for you, but the million other people are underwater.
Yeah. The North Carolina Education Lottery. I like how they had to call it that.
I know. Well, isn't it like, how does it tie into education?
It funds a lot of education stuff. So like a lot of the winnings from it. I think it's a state-run lottery. The state of North Carolina is like, yeah, we don't do gambling. And then the next day they were like, we'd like to announce our lottery we're doing to support the education system. And they're like, and they're like, all right, so we got gambling back, and they're like, just if you're paying us.
That's
not if you're paying other people.
As long as I've been alive, the lottery's been around, the NC Education Lottery.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get as much money as they can, and they don't mind betting and gambling if they get paid.
Yeah,
it's very above board.
Which again, if I was on the other side, I'd be like, heck yeah. Let them gamble, dude.
I've got this great idea for how to fund the education system. Take the lowest income people, get them addicted to gambling, and put it at every gas station in all the poorest spots, and they're going to be spending money you didn't even know they had. Money that they're definitely not reporting to the IRS.
They find this money somehow.
I swear they're like begging for it. Well, gambling addiction is like rampant in America. I didn't know this.
Oh, it's a serious problem.
I didn't know.
It's a serious problem. I went to Vegas a few years ago, and it was real late. It was like probably 2 a.m, but that place never sleeps. And we're walking around I don't know if we were in Caesar's Palace, whatever. We were like right on the strip of gambling, and it's real uncomfortable when you walk in there. I was sober at the time. Well, I was sick. That's why I was sober. Dude, I'm cool. I'm a cool guy. I was drinking at that time frame. I just was sober at that very moment. And you walk into these casinos, and people are passed out on these roulette machines, and it's a very like disturbing sight. It's like these old people that are just like ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. They lose.
So weird.
They put in more ka-ching, ka-ching, and they do that all day, all night because they're so addicted. And then it's crazy because those machines are designed to get you addicted. When you win, it's like a big explosion of colors and sounds. It's like, you just won. Let's go. Ding, 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 Let's go. Let's just change your life. You're like, you won like $40 or something.
Yeah.
You're like, frick, put in like $3,000.
It's so insane.
I like the real games like blackjack and whatever. I know the house got it, but it's still fun. There's The teller in the freaking suit and whatever.
I mean,
sliding these cool cards.
I don't think all gambling is necessarily evil. It's the same thing as drinking. Like if you can't stop drinking no matter what, drinking is horrible for you. If you like every once in a while drink, okay. But then there's like you're probably drinking a little too much, but you just think about it.
Yeah, it's
the same thing.
It's very bad news, especially for the poors, because the poors will try to lift themselves out of being poor by having a stroke of luck, which doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, they're willing to. They have less to lose, so they're willing to kind of wager more.
Yeah, exactly. When you're the poorest, when I was the poorest, I was spending the most.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that obviously cause and effect there, but it was like when you start building up your little account or whatever you have, you start spending way less. I don't know why. It's a weird phenomenon. You like start to like protect it.
Yeah.
And you protect your treasure.
I'm protecting my treasure.
I've got $300 in my savings account.
I don't have it anymore. You can check, but I started saving up cash wherever I get cash from mowing lawns throughout the summer, and I hollowed out this trash book and started putting the cash in this book.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is like too much cash to like just put in a drawer or whatever. I feel like it would be weird. It's too messy. I'm like, the book is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. And at first it was like my rainy day fund. I was like, maybe I'll go see a movie with it. And then it started like amping up to like, I got $500 in there. And I'm like, well, I'm not, I don't want to go see a movie with this. It's like, I don't want to take away from it.
Yeah.
And then you get $1,000 in there. You're like, I just want to keep building. I want to keep it. And I'm protecting this book. I'm like, how can I make the book more discreet? I put it under the Bible, my little treasure stash. And then it got to a point where I had enough to buy a motorcycle, which was the plan in the beginning, but it just got there. Now it's empty. The book's gone.
I saw the book.
You did?
Because it was at the top of the trash can one day. I was like, "What? Who threw out a book?" And I just like picked it up and it flopped open and it was hollowed out. And I was like, "What is going on?" What?
You don't know how long it took me to hollow out that book. It took a long time. A knife only goes so far into pages. So you're doing like maybe 10 pages at a time. And I probably hollowed out 400 pages because I had to maneuver different ways to get the knife in there because the cash was getting too high. Because sometimes they pay, sometimes they get 5s.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get 10s. All of a sudden, you got 30 10s in there, and so the book kept getting deeper and deeper. My knives are so dull now because that dang book. The book was tomorrow. Probably the worst book. I was like, it was by this is gonna sound bad. Here we go. It was the first book I tried to read by a woman author.
Oh. And
I didn't know she was like she's like a California Libby type. I didn't know she was. The Goodreads told me it was a really good book. And I was like, all right, I'm fixing for a good story. And I opened the book. I'm reading. I'm like 70 pages in. Like there's 3 gays. This one is battling with trans stuff going on. And I just had to close the book. I just about burned the book. I mean, it was bad. Nothing against the gays. I have something against trans, but the gays are fine. But it's like it was so like obviously on her brain while she was writing the book that it was kind of frustrating. Because say you take a great book like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And the dude's writing a adventure novel for his son, and he is a World War II. Tolkien was a World War II fighter or whatever. He got drafted to World War II. And there's undertones in the book of World War II. There's obviously a little bit of like, there's hurt and adventure and whatever. And even the storyline is a little bit World War II-ish. but it was during that time. But it's just an undertone rather than like, and then Gandalf took out his AR-15 and blasted Sauron to hell.
Yeah,
It's like, no, dude, Gandalf had a cool wizard staff, and he said, "You shall not pass." But with these new books, it's like they just blow it in your face, and I'm like, there's not even like a gay undertone. Like, he was, he looked subtly at a man, or she looked subtly at a girl. Like, there's an undertone right there. There's like, okay, that was a little weird, but carry on.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a gay character. It's like, yeah, the books or the TV shows are like, and then he was gay, and then his friend was gay, and the other guy's gay, and here's a new character, gay. It's like, well, wait a minute.
It's the new novelists are like you. It's like you tell a fourth grader to write a book about a gay dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was gay, and his friend was gay, and they both kissed, and then this other gay walked in, slammed the door in the gay's face. Huge drama. It's like, what? It's like, come on, dude. Come on, give me an undertone. Give me a Tolkien-esque undertone of like, I know there's some World War II implications, like wordage going on. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy that what they're doing does. It's like, now even that book in the school, it's like, and then Johnny took his wiener out and started stroking his wiener. And he's like, and these third graders reading it like, sick. And then that third grader grows up and writes tomorrow. And I'm cutting a hole in it to hide my money. That's where novels are going. It's so stupid.
The book I read recently, one of the books I read recently is called The Library, or The Time Library, or something like that. And it was about this girl. She kills herself, and she goes to this library in between life and death. And there's this librarian there that was her, her teacher from school, and she's like, you can get to pick a new life where you made a different choice. And it's an infinite library. She just says like, well, instead of dropping, the guitar when I was 8, what if I stayed with it or whatever? And then she's like in a band, and she gets to like live that life. And it's like, it's a cool concept. I was like, wow, this is cool. This is like a little science fiction-y kind of cool thing. It's going to be fun to read. And then like in so many of her lives, she was like, what if I had gone to save the climate? And she goes and has this like thing where she's like studying the penguins. She's like, oh, there's so much climate here. It's so crazy.
So much climate. I can't believe it.
And then it just goes like, it just keeps shoving it in your face. Like all of these like current political things that are going on. It's like, why do you have to put them all in this book? Just make the story. Like, I don't understand why girl science fiction, like she's going to all these different lives. Like, I don't understand why you have to shove politics into that. That just seems so weird.
I know. She could have been like infinite library. She'd be like, I'm gonna fly.
Yeah.
I want to be a bird.
Like a book I feel like should last forever. Like some of the books that I've read are super old, and you wouldn't even know they're old because they're meant to last.
They're meant to last.
All of the topics and the stories and stuff are usually like, you can understand them. There's no like, the author isn't trying to tell you something.
Yeah. There's this devious lick of an undertone trying to capture your brain. They're trying to steal our brains right out of our skulls.
You shouldn't be thinking about the author every line. You should be thinking about the story. And then when you're analyzing the story later, you're like, how did the author convey that? Blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be like, this guy is, what is he trying to tell me here? He wants me to be a climate activist and save the penguins? Like
The
this is
penguins are
weird.
melting.
It was like forced. And then the end of the book was this like, I found out that life is so great even though the climate sucks, and I was like, what am I reading?
Oh my god!
Like the topic, the premise was so good. And it was actually not a bad book. Just my mouth was left with a bad flavor in my mouth.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, it's very frustrating for us academic readers
Mm-hmm.
when we want to pick up a fiction novel, and all of a sudden they're blasting our balls with modern stuff, even lingo and stuff. It's like if you want to make, like you said, if you want to make a forever long, but what is the word for that?
Timeless.
A timeless classic novel. Don't put, and then he tweeted, "You're gay,"
yeah.
or Johnny ripped his iPhone out of his pocket.
I know.
It's like, dude, these. It's really it takes me out of it whenever there's some modern stuff in there,
Mm-hmm.
because it puts me right back into the real world.
Yeah, it does. It's weird. Like, but the best movies of all time, I feel like were from maybe I'm biased, but I feel like the 80s and 90s maybe, because technology had gotten good enough that the film capabilities were really good. So you're watching these like still great looking movies, some of them. And so like the actual tech is good, and you can watch one without thinking like, this movie looks like it's 400 years old. Like, it just is easy to watch, but the actual tech that they're using in the actual show isn't like, and then he tweeted his picture of his balls to the teacher and then got suspended. It's
You know what's the worst in movies? When they're looking at their phone and they put up the graphic of the phone in the corner.
Yeah, and they're
you see
texting.
you see the text.
I
I'm
hate
like,
that.
oh my god, that is terrible. That's like typical Hollywood stuff. The
Yeah.
modern Hollywood is just so far removed from what we want to see. It's unreal, except for Dune. But Dune, awesome. Dune 2, awesome.
Dune is a great movie because there's no phones, there's politics, but they're fake politics. Because I think politics are fun in a book, but it's fun when they're different politics than that.
Yeah, when they're not real. Yeah, it's
like there's all kinds of politics in like Star Wars, but it's not real life politics.
no,
It's
dude. There's lightsabers.
Yeah.
and there's like a Star Destroyer, which we could compare to the modern day fire engine number 1 at the Fuquay-Varina Fire Department. Thank you very much. That's what I call it, everybody. I mean, I know I've said this before, but they have this 36-wheeler, full-size fire engine. It's probably a 50-footer, ladder truck, and then it's like one of those city buses that looks like an accordion. They're like dragging around another section.
oh yeah, and you can steer the back and the front separate.
Yeah, and it's why is our tax dollars going to a $50 million Star Destroyer truck for goddamn Mrs. Caprice down the lane? Her freaking stove got left on.
I saw an ambulance and a fire truck at a house right up the road, and the fire truck parked in the lane, like right on the road, and then they were just blocking oncoming traffic, and just firefighters standing out there directing traffic around the obstruction he made. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, just go home.
Let me go home. Whatever happened to volunteer fire department?
I mean, I've told this story probably before about when we had the fire burn down one of the apartment buildings at the complex I used to live at, and it was a big deal, and there was actually like 7,000 firefighters there, because I think they called all of the departments that were neighboring, because fire trucks were showing up for like 4 hours constantly. More fire trucks were showing up. It was like a big party for them. And there was this truck that I've never seen a truck like this before. It was a truck just full of water bottles and like stuff to like back up the firefighters, I guess.
Start throwing water bottles at it.
And I had to leave for work, and this is like 4 or 5 hours after the fire is completely out, like it's not even smoldering, and all the firefighters are still there, and they're still spraying the building, and this water bottle truck is giant, huge truck, like crazy huge truck, blocking my truck in. My little pickup truck is blocked. I can't get to work. So I'm like, I look over, I think I roll down my window, or maybe I hop out, and there's like some guys sitting in a ambulance or some kind of some truck, and I'm like, hey, do you have any idea who can move this? Like, I have to go to work. And they're like gave me this thing like, oh my
Are you
gosh.
ruining our party right now?
Like, you're really
you want to ruin our party
you're
right now?
shitting on our party right now. I'm like, dude, you parked right in front of my truck. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And they're like, and they just like point to a guy. And so I walk over to a guy, and I'm like, hey man, do you have the keys to this? Can you move this thing? He's like, I'm like, dude, I have to go to work.
He's like, dude, there's a fire.
Yeah,
There's a
like,
fire
there
going
was
on right now.
There was.
This is an emergency.
I was so upset because I was just like, come on, just move out of my way. You've been blocking me in
You
for
want me
6
to move
hours.
the water bottle truck right now?
He's so mad to get in it and move it.
Freaking fire engine 1 pulls up, fire engine 2, the fire engine 3 that has all the folding tables in it, fire engine 4 that has all the smokers and the ribeyes in it, fire engine 5 that has all the throwing axes in it so they can thrash the building around, fire engine 6 with all the water bottles, and then fire engine 7 is just full of boys.
Yeah.
Just get out.
It's all just poles. It's full of poles,
Yeah.
and they're all hanging on the poles and spinning around on them.
The boys have like the speaker.
It's so funny that they have a slidey pole.
Oh, they love their slidey pole, and the slidey pole is a mandated equipment inside of the fire department. It's funny because it is gay.
It's so I mean, it's efficient. I guess it is efficient, but it's so funny. Oh, I gotta slide down this pole so I can go put down a fire.
And 9 times out of 10, these fools are getting called to car accidents, a fender bender.
Yeah, they're wearing 500 pounds worth of gear, and they're sliding down a chrome pole.
Dude, I get so ticked off when I see the videos on my Instagram of like the the firemen speed running, putting on their gear.
Yeah.
And they're like, no way, he just got it in a 136. No way, he just got it in a 136. Did you see that technique of him putting the bottle on his back? It's so stupid, dude.
I remember
what the frick.
The boys at high school that were in the like firefighter elective class, and they used to walk around in like kind of firefighter-y type outfit, and they would every once in a while they would bring a firefighter in and be like, so you're one of us, aren't you? You're gonna be. I'll tell you what you're gonna be, and you're gonna be a damn good firefighter.
Starting a fire 101. You follow crew chief Captain Martin. He's got his blowtorch and he's got 79 bags of napalm in the rear. You're going to take a blowtorch, light the napalm, throw it at the building. Make sure there's no cameras. It's going to light up. You call the boys in and we'll head out.
We'll put it out and we'll let you tell everybody where the fire you think it started, and you'll know because you started it, and you'll be like, how did you know where it started?
Fire Chief Captain Phillips, the Dairy Queen has just lit up.
The Dairy Queen is on fire. Oh, we'll get the boys. We'll get the boys.
Don't worry, Captain Phillips. We got our food first. That's good, boys. Good job, boys.
They're just in the middle of chewing their hamburgers.
Went away. Is there Five Guys nearby? Of course there is. Of course there is.
Yeah, isn't it convenient that the fire's always right next to a Five Guys? And afterwards, they're always at the Five Guys. How come there's
The
never...
Five Guys, they walk in, free burgers for the firemen.
The DoorDash delivery zone for Five Guys looks exactly the same as where all the fires are. Like it's within 20 or 25 miles of a Five Guys. There's no fires. Look it
my
up.
God.
I'm telling you right now, Google it. There's no fires outside of a range of a Five Guys.
And these guys, I have to give them credit because they do have the setting fires down to a science. I mean, it's like seeing a shooting star, seeing one of these firemen setting a fire. They've really got it good. I have seen them unmarked vehicles throwing napalm out of the windows, but I never thought it was firemen until Crew Chief Captain Phillips. You know, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know his face. And then you call the police and you're like, Crew Captain Captain Phillips is freaking lighting fires. And they're like, I know. We know.
Duh.
Duh.
How
why-
do you think? Well, people don't burn down their house naturally.
Yeah.
Like, why would anybody burn down their house otherwise? We gotta work.
Man, Five Guys ain't gonna eat itself, you know what I mean?
Speaking of Five Guys, I went and got a burger and a fries and a sweet tea from Five Guys, and I paid like $20 freaking dollars for just me to eat Five Guys. And yes, it was really good, but
Now I get why they're lighting the fires.
yeah, but I think they probably get a discount too. They're like, hey, you know, we require like 6 to 7 hamburgers a day.
You know, I played 9 hours of COD last night and I ate about 6 breakfasts. And I'm a fireman.
Sir, your Five Guys is going to be 20% off forever.
Actually, it's free. It's on the house. First responders, anything for you guys. I used to go to this coffee shop. It closed down because the firemen put it out. Actually, well, they lit it up first, then they put it out. It's in Holly Springs, and you used to go in there, and there's this board of it was called the Pay It Forward board, and you have like single moms on there that, you know, they have like 25 drinks built up because people pay it forward. Like nice people will be like, I wanna give a free drink to the free mom section or the single moms section, and then it goes like single moms, students, which is retarded, and then like a couple other like, you know, cancer survivors, whatever, and then at the bottom it's firemen, and it goes like it's like the single moms have like 7 drinks,
Yeah.
and it's like 6, 5, 20, and then the firemen are like 130. I'm like, oh
People
my god.
Love firemen.
I'm trying to get. Whoa, what was that?
I never heard that.
Whoa. That was my Siri.
Your Siri went off just now?
My Siri was listening.
Ooh. And they're really trying to shut this podcast down. They're
Not them.
all the powers that be.
Not them. The firefighters.
What if the truck just comes smashing through the door?
That would be awesome. Oh.
They just light us on fire. Their hose is hooked up to the gas tank of the fire truck.
Oops.
Why do you think we need a
Dang.
75-gallon tank?
We brought the gasoline truck and not the water truck.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
Don't spray it on that candle over there, that candle that we brought.
Yeah, I could see Fire Chief Captain Phillips busting through this door like Kool-Aid Man right now. I can see it in my dreams. Oh my god, his 500-pound self. Freaking loaded with Five Guys and in Firehouse Subs. By the way, I think they started Firehouse Subs, the firemen.
Yeah, they probably did.
It's actually a good idea to do that as a fire marshal chief, Captain Phillips, actually. Played by Tom Hanks in that one movie.
Why is it such a good idea?
It's a great idea because you start this fast food joint and then you get to feed everyone for free off the tax dollars.
That's true.
You started with tax dollars, and you feed all your boys for free because it's subsidized by the fire department, and they just get free food. It's like a giant. It's like the Dave and Buster's system. It's like you buy the power card,
Mm-hmm.
you spend the power card, you get tickets, and then you come back to fill up your power card. It's like Dave and Buster's, just like that.
Yeah, that reminds me of Dave and Buster's. Yeah, I have to say. Oh my gosh.
Dave and Buster's is awesome.
I actually have been to Frankie's.
Frankie's, awesome.
I have been to Chuck E. Cheese. I've been to Fuddruckers. other than that, I don't think I've been to Dave and Buster's.
So there's this place in Texas that not many people know about. It's called Main Event.
Okay.
And it's like you take Dave and Buster's and you take a bowling alley and you take a laser tag place and you take a go-kart track and you take a Frankie's, and they all have this giant, I don't want to say orgy, but it's an orgy, and that's Main Event.
Like Adventure Landing.
It's like a better Adventure Landing. It is just a top class establishment. You go in there to bowl. You bowl for 6 hours, and then you get into the laser tag spot. The laser tag's high quality too. They got huge arena of laser tag in the dark fog. It's all great. CQB, awesome laser tag. And then you hit up the pool hall. Didn't mention that. They got a pool hall.
Okay.
And then the arcade is like the last and final, like, just, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me?
The arcades are doing pretty well these days.
Think about starting one.
They got the Boxcar in downtown Raleigh, which is it's literally just, they combined a bar and an arcade, and it's constantly packed.
Oh, it's packed to the gills.
It's never not packed, and they won't let kids into the arcade because it's a bar. So it's for people who have way too much money to be spending on arcade games, and the drinks aren't cheap either. They're like bar price.
They're bar price.
Yeah, they're not super crazy expensive, but then you're like spending $20 on these arcade games, and they're just rolling in money.
Well, it's so fantastic because you get drunk and then you're like, oh, frick, I want to play a game. Oh my God, there's so many games.
yeah.
Oh my God, Mortal Kombat. Oh my God, skee ball. Oh my God. Hey, by the way, I just want to shout myself out here. I have the highest. There's 2 barcades, boxcars. There's 2 boxcars. I have the high score with the basketball game at the Raleigh and the Durham location. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I'm just saying. I stamped my cheeks on both of those items.
And we all thought it was cheating at first when you climbed up inside of the
Dude,
game.
guys, you didn't do that. Didn't do that. Dude, don't say that. I didn't do that. Guys, I didn't do that. That would be cheating. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a cheater. I'm a loyal. Ooh, smells bad. Loyal. I'm a loyal homeboy.
I gotta say, my favorite moment I've ever had at the barcade was there's this dance game where you got to step on the arrows, and there's like a little railing that comes up behind all the arrows that you can kind of, I guess, lean on. Probably it's like a legal thing. And this guy comes in, this little skinny white guy comes in, and he's got a drawstring bag. He doesn't order a drink. Everyone else has a drink. He's stone cold sober because he has a serious business to attend to. He has to dance his heart out on this machine, and he gets on this sucker, and he leans back on the railing, and then so he's almost like got most of his weight like a kangaroo on his tail, and he turns this thing on. First of all, I've never seen this happen. He like does some secret shortcut and then types a special code into the machine.
He's got like an account.
Yeah, and then he types puts on a song, puts it on extra difficult, does not miss a single note. And he's like shaking like violently. He's like tapping with his legs, tapping all of them so fast, and he's not even dancing. He's just spastically touching every note with his feet while he's like leaned back on this railing, and it is so spastic and violent. And I'm probably standing like 4 or 5 feet from him, crying, laughing.
Dude,
at
it's
him.
incredible.
Like,
He completely embarrassed me.
it was like you're like getting the secondhand embarrassment, but
he was I was on the machine and he was waiting for me to be done.
Oh, he
and
was,
I was on like medium, just freaking botching it.
yeah.
And then I feel the pressure of this guy just standing behind me, and he gets on there and he just absolutely destroys it.
I've never laughed at somebody so much. And I don't know, I mean, maybe he saw and heard me, but he was so dialed into the game. I feel like he didn't see anything except the little arrows coming down where he had to step. And that was the best time I've ever had at a boxcar, was just standing watching this dude and laughing my ass off.
I have never seen.
Like tears streaming down my face for minutes and minutes and minutes. He was playing it for like he must have played it for like an hour.
I've never seen a person more dialed.
He was sweating profusely by the end, and he was just playing all these games. And then I'm pretty sure he just grabbed his little duffel bag and left. Like he just came in, played that one game, and then left.
That's called dialed.
I've never seen anybody so good at something so ridiculous. And that was the thing that tickled me the most, is that he came in on a Saturday midday and he knew what he had to do. He had to grind some dance.
Yeah. He really did, yeah. Yeah. That was pretty goofy. I think that's a really goofy thing to get good at, but again, I play a lot of Clone Hero or Guitar Hero. And that's pretty goofy too, but God, is it fun. God, is it fun.
Yeah, but you're nowhere near as good at Clone
Are you
Hero
serious?
as that guy was at Dance.
Are you kidding me?
I'm completely serious. This guy was next level good at this thing. And his build was hilarious. His look was hilarious. The way he was so serious was so hilarious. The way he was so hilarious was so hilarious. I can't believe he did that in front of me, and I got to laugh for so long.
Yeah, I love that moment. There's so many little moments that I love, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by all the little moments in life. And do you need a good moment? They're coming. You never know when they're going to be there, and that's what makes them special. Use code FTD at checkout for 10% off your next moment.
Hey, we create moments. That dude in the sauna today gave me a pretty good moment.
That was funny.
And this guy in the sauna was asking me about the podcast because I was just mentioning it to my buddy that was sitting there. And he's like, what's the podcast called? And he's like, do you ever talk about anything serious? And I was like, yeah, dude, my relationships all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, what about them? I'm like, dude, just haven't had much success lately. They're all, hoflation. And he basically said, he's like, well, if you're looking in the trash, you're going to find trash. But
He's
if
like,
you look,
where are you going? Where do you?
if you look in the symphony, you're going to find some classy
Yeah, he
broads.
told you to go to the symphony.
He did. That was kind of awesome.
That's
I respect it. And then he told me to leave. He's like, you ever thought about traveling? I was like, yeah, I have traveled. He's like, you got to go. You got to find one out there. If there ain't none here, he told me to go to Colombia, and I was like, South Carolina? And he's like, no, Brazil. And I was like, yeah, I heard they got some BBLs down there. He's like, no. They're all natural. I was like, yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is so funny. I thought it was funny because I came into the sauna and you guys were already in there talking to this dude about the podcast and stuff. And I was like, I just thought it was funny. I was kind of listening, and the way he started talking, he was like, I'll let you in on how to find like a really good girl. And then come to find out at the end, he's completely single. Like he doesn't have a good girl that he's found, and he's just dropping this information like we're gonna get this sorted out for you.
I really enjoyed that conversation with him. It made me think a little bit differently because, if you do look in the trash, you're gonna find trash.
Yeah. It's true.
He's like stay away from clubs because them girls crazy.
Yeah.
That's real. That was real interaction today.
It was a strange interaction. I like those weird interactions with somebody where it just goes from 0 to 100 so fast, and you're in this weird conversation with a stranger, and it's just you're all in.
I know, it's just fantastic.
That's why I like buying and selling stuff to people on the internet is funny. Like I was in a dude's garage today trying to sell him epoxy floor, and it's just funny. And then I emailed him back and forth for a while. He was trying to haggle me and stuff, and I gave in a little bit.
No, there's no discounts. There's no discounts for freaking service, baby. Come on
the thing
now.
is, I just kind of like
let me swerve you. Let me serve you.
I randomly set a price.